It's another episode of Farm to Table where we explain the mobilizations that we're using, the position transfer exercise we're using, so you can improve your positions. Because remember, the reason we mobilize is to get into better shapes, right? That's the only thing, biomotor output. In fact, maybe not even shapes, it's about squatting more, running faster, that's the game. So one of the things we see, if we have Coach Diane stand up here for a second, and what I want you to see is that when she squats, notice that her ankle stays squarely in the middle of her foot. So we talk about foot pressure a lot around here. Ball of foot to heel, standard pressure, and then the ankle's in the middle. And it doesn't honestly matter what Diane does. She push presses, she hinges, she swings. That relationship is the same. But check this out. Go ahead and get into a little squat stance, Di. But if Diane's knee comes in, right, notice what's going on here at the heel. So in this position, knee is tracking the toe. She's lost her pressure and collapsed her ankle. So she's gone from a rad solid arch to a collapse. It happens totally, and with feet are straight, you can definitely buffer it. But oftentimes when athletes are in this position, we're saying, hey, can you get the knee out to get back? And what they end up happening, if I hold your ankle here, right, you're working really hard to be able to drive that back, right? So keep your ankle in, knees in. Oftentimes this calcaneus gets a little stuck. So check this out. If Diane flips on her stomach here, I want to show you what I'm looking at. So in this position, when I put the ankle in the middle of the foot, right? So we put the talus in the middle of the foot, we call it subtalar neutral, whatever. What I'm really looking at is, does she have any motion in the heel? Because it's a separate unit from the foot, right? This calcaneus, right? We should have a ton of motion across the foot here, motion in the whole segment. But specifically the heel gets stiff. Now check this out, bear with me. When you saw Diane squat, her ankle remained in the middle. That's where she's gonna have the most function, the most choice, the most option, the most power. But she can generate force here, she's gonna have to generate force here. It's your ankle. But if she's stuck here, where the ankle is in, you can see now that in this position, the knee tracks the toe. So no matter what she does, if she rolls to correct, this being stiff, sometimes what we see is that the athlete will shove the knee out and the toe comes up, right? They can't leave the foot flat and get back again. And what ends up happening is because this heel gets a little stiff, when they try to drive, they end up driving the whole system out instead of having this motion. So here's what we do. Pop on up. I have all these advanced mobilization techniques they taught me in PT school, but turns out you can do a lot of this yourself. And there's low likelihood of gnarliness. So here, I'll do it on my right foot, facing you. So here's what you do. You're gonna put one foot kind of like this. I'm gonna reach across my shin, grab my foot. So this allows me to get my ankle into dorsiflexion, right? So if I'm stuck in, you can see that in this position, with the heel in, that's a knee in position. What we're trying to do is get a little motion. So reach across the front of the shin, grab the foot, and Diane's flying blind here. She's just mimicking me. On the heel bone, I'm putting off the edge of the table. See that? Now, what's nice now is that I've got the table doing some work for me. I'm gonna be in dorsiflexion, and I'm also gonna pull the foot up, because now knee is tracking little toe, which puts the ankle in a lot more stable, closed position. So in this shape now, Diane can get up and over using the edge. And this could be an ab mat you could do this on, a side of a bench. And then she's just gonna wiggle back and forth a little bit. And you can see how I have some motion here at end range. I'm just looking for some motion. So what we see is 30 seconds of just pushing in a little bit and getting some motion here has never made anyone's heel hypermobile in the history of the world. But this is one of the things that we check when someone is missing ankle function. We check sliding surfaces, we check the joint capsule here, we look at stiffness in the tissues, we look at how well the fibular head that we've talked about is moving. We also look at the heel, and look what's happening here. In this position, Diane can just get her weight up and over. You can even kind of sneak your own leg in if you need a little bit more load. And then what we're looking for, again, is some motion. Can we restore and actually have a little motion in the joint? So if you feel like you're pushing on it, it's not moving, Keep pushing on it. And then once you get some motion in there, test and retest. This is something that doesn't need to be done every day. It doesn't need to be done for hours and hours. What we find is 30 seconds, reassess. Maybe another 30 seconds to a minute, reassess. Certainly don't need to bang on it more than a couple minutes. But what we're really looking for is, do you have motion in this system, yes or no? And when you do, then suddenly you have choice about what your foot does. So if your foot is jammed into this position, that means knee's always going to be in. And when you try to shove your knee out, there's the toe lift up. Oh, the dreaded big toe. Can't jump or dunk a basketball for this position. So coaches are saying, hey, knees out, because they're trying to keep you into this better arch position. But if you don't have this motion, that's sticky. So check this out. One of the ways that we touch this every day, come on up, Di, is during our normal warm-up. One of our shoulder spin-ups is that we rock side to side, trying to open up the lateral unit, right? But look what's happened with the feet here. I'm trying to rock, and it's like I'm skiing. And when I should be able to go to both positions in my feet and then have a choice. So at least what we're doing as we do some of this shoulder mob was that we're talking to our, you just broke my wrist, it's totally fine. We're talking to the feet to make sure that that heel is rocking back and forth a little bit. So one of the ways that we try to sneak in sort of kind of flossing, brushing, tissue health is at least we're touching some of these positions. Obviously, if I'm squatting and moving, it should be fine. But this shape, you can see how much motion is happening at the heel. At least we're formally touching it. And more importantly, we've got a method now to get a little bit of motion in here. So how much should I have here? Even at end range, I should have a little bit of flex. And the idea here is, don't take our word for it. Get a little dose, get a little response, see if it makes it easier to maintain that stable arch, more mid-range ankle in the bottom position of your squat. That centrated position is the best pickup of ankle physiology where you can generate the most force. It's not the only position you're in, but we want to make sure that you have a choice about your foot position.